Securing top marks on your exam starts with understanding the Indian electoral process as a massive, strictly coordinated system. There are specific timelines, actors, and rules you must memorize to master this chapter. Let's establish the baseline timeline first. In India, general elections for the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies are held at a standard interval, once every 5 years. But sometimes that timeline breaks. If an elected representative resigns or dies before completing their term, an election is held only in that specific constituency to fill the vacancy. This is called a by-election. Here is where students often lose points on short answer questions. You need to distinguish why elections are essential from what makes them democratic. Elections are essential because they give people the power to choose their lawmakers, form a government, and hold that government accountable. That is the purpose. The features of a democratic election are the mechanisms that make it fair. These include establishing electoral limits, guaranteeing universal adult suffrage, sticking to a regular schedule, and maintaining a genuine competitive spirit among multiple parties. Confusing the purpose of an election with its mechanisms is a common trap. Keep these two lists cleanly separated in your notes, and you will secure those 2-mark and 4-mark questions. Now let's look at the electorate. The entire system rests on the principle of universal adult franchise. This means every adult citizen has the right to vote, without any discrimination based on religion, race, caste, or gender. This text block from the official rules defines exactly how that principle is tracked. It requires an electoral roll, commonly called the voters list. This is the official registry containing the names of all citizens who are 18 years of age and eligible to vote. To actually cast that vote, citizens must prove their identity. The Election Commission issues an Election Photo Identity Card, or EPIC. The purpose of this card is very specific. It prevents electoral fraud and ensures no one can impersonate another voter at the polling booth. Every time a citizen uses these IDs to cast a ballot, they are choosing the representatives who rule on their behalf. This gives the public the direct power to control or even remove a government that fails to meet their expectations. It is this active, authorized participation that serves as the ultimate check on political power. Let's shift from the voter to the candidate. For elections, the country is divided into specific geographical areas called constituencies. These boundaries are drawn based on population size, territorial limits, and the requirement to reserve certain seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. This data table highlights the immense scale and variance of the battleground. Because constituencies are based on population, a massive state like Uttar Pradesh holds 80 parliamentary seats, while several smaller states and union territories hold just 1. Getting on the ballot requires clearing strict hurdles. A candidate must be an Indian citizen, they must be at least 25 years old to contest Lok Sabha or state assembly elections, and at least 30 for the Rajya Sabha. They must also be of sound mind and have no criminal convictions. Once qualified, candidates hit the campaign trail. They connect with voters through a mix of door-to-door visits, public speeches, large rallies, and media advertisements. Often, a campaign hinges on a highly recognizable slogan. A classic exam trivia example is the 2011 West Bengal general election, where Mamata Banerjee successfully utilized the phrase, "Bodla noi, badla chai," meaning we want change, not revenge. General campaigning is strictly regulated by the Model Code of Conduct. Candidates cannot bribe voters, appeal in the name of religion or caste, use government vehicles, or use places of worship for propaganda. Let's test your active recall. A minister takes a government helicopter to a temple and asks the crowd to vote to protect their caste. Which rules of the Model Code did he break? Time's up. He broke 3 specific rules: using a government vehicle, campaigning at a place of worship, and appealing based on caste. These rules exist for a reason. Without the Model Code of Conduct, candidates who already hold government power or those with immense wealth could easily manipulate the outcome, destroying any chance of fair democratic competition. Enforcing these rules requires a powerful, independent umpire. In India, that body is the Election Commission of India, or ECI. The ECI controls the entire process. They announce the dates, issue the Model Code of Conduct, assign government staff to election duties, and actively prevent the ruling party from misusing government power during the campaign. To manage this massive workload, the commission is structured with a chairperson, the Chief Election Commissioner, supported by 2 additional election commissioners, all appointed by the President. To guarantee their independence, the law makes it extremely difficult to fire them. Removing the Chief Election Commissioner requires a specific address passed by a 2/3 majority in both houses of Parliament. This graphic represents the final stage. Once polling ends, all electronic voting machines, or EVMs, are sealed and secured. On a fixed, pre-assigned date, the votes are counted under strict supervision, and the candidate with the most votes in each constituency is declared the winner. Let's synthesize everything into a final study framework. You need to organize your notes into 4 distinct buckets: voter rules, candidate qualifications, campaign conduct, and the powers of the ECI. Master the precise terminology inside these 4 quadrants. If you can define the electoral roll, list the exact candidate age requirements, spot model code violations, and explain the structure of the Election Commission, you are completely prepared to ace this section of the exam.